I could never hate an Alex Ross cover. He is without a doubt my favorite comic book artist of all time. But at the same time, this is a picture of Thor just hitting a rock with his hammer, which fits the nonsensical nature of this story perfectly. After reading this issue, I couldn't help but see this as evidence that Al Ewing is just trolling the audience. 15 pages of this plot is just Thor solving a riddle presented by Loki, which he has to solve, or he'll be forced to take a millennia long trip back home the old fashioned way because Loki's magic has blocked Thor's ability to open portals.
Oh, you must pass the dungeon wisdom test.
So in the last issue, Loki used a spell to put Thor into the Thor sleep so he could regain his strength in order to face Taurenos once again. Thor awakens from his sleep on some godforsaken alien planet fully bearded.
Odin's beard! My beard!
Yeah, Al Ewing tries to present it as a novelty that Thor has a beard. Thor even says to himself, "No truer words spoken, Thunder God, for your father's beard is indeed upon your own face." This despite the fact that he's had a beard many times, including when he became the king of Asgard for the second time at the beginning of Donny Cates' run, during War of the Realms, when he was unworthy, during his first run at king, and during the 80s, just to name the most notable examples. But then Loki shows up to reveal his scheme. See, he's able to trap Thor on this planet using the Norse rune Raidho on his staff. Raidho is the rune of journey, of stories, of that inner compass that we all have, just to name a few aspects. Loki reveals that the rune is being applied in a reverse manner to give Thor an unwanted journey. So Thor has to solve the riddle, and Loki gives him a clue, that being, use what you keep in that helmet of yours. So Thor takes the clue literally, and decides to use Mjolnir and the lightning to shape his helmet into an axe, with a blade on one side and a hammer on the other. He uses a branch and reeds as a handle, and boom, he's got what looks like a pretty close replica to Stormbreaker. The MCU version, not the version that Beta Ray Bill uses in the main Marvel universe. Now, how useful this would be against Taurenos, I don't know. He mentions that his helmet was made of Asgardian steel, but he doesn't say Uru. Now I have to mention someone like Al Ewing, who's been writing Marvel comics for a while, would be aware of the significance of Uru metal, and so I think if he had intended it for it to be Uru, he would have said so. Thor names the axe Tormod, which is the modern version of the old Norse word meaning mind and courage. Using this axe, he carves a Raidho staff of his own, which summons Loki, who promises to release him if Thor gives him the throne of Asgard. Facing this evil-looking depiction of Loki, Thor solves the riddle by realizing that whenever Loki says that they want a throne, that they are lying. And so he pounds the staff on the ground and reappears on the moon where he left off. Although this story was a stupid detour, Thor does return from the Thor sleep having lost no time, but this trial, if you can even call it that, was pretty lame. Issue 2 implied that Thor would have to make some great sacrifice to utilize the Thor Force, but he has so far not done anything that he hasn't had to do in the past. Supposedly, solving Loki's riddle was also meant to help Thor solve the riddle of defeating Taurenos, and he believes that part of the answer lies with Storm, though it goes further than that. So, light spoilers here if you haven't looked ahead at the solicitations. Okay, so Al Ewing unfortunately is going to have Thor reassemble the Thor Corps. What is the Thor Corps? The Thor Corps was a group of 3 Thors that originally got together to face a time-traveling villain named Zarko. The Corps was made up of Beta Ray Bill wielding Stormbreaker, Kevin Masterson, the at the time current host of Thor, and Dargo Couture, a human from the far future who picked up Mjolnir and became Thor. Now, what I'm referencing is not technically called the Thor Corps, but I'm talking about the War of the Realms, where you had modern Thor, young Thor, old Thor, and Jane Foster fight Malekith. In this case, it's just going to be Jane Foster, who somehow has Mjolnir again, Loki with a hammer, Beta Ray Bill, and Storm. Now, Storm having a hammer is not a new concept. She was given a hammer called Stormcaster years ago by Loki, who was trying to manipulate her into fighting Thor. That hammer has been broken multiple times, but always returns when the plot demands it. As for Loki, I'm not sure how he gets a hammer unless it's an alternate universe version of himself. Honestly, I'm not very excited for the story that this is building into. It's been years since Thor got to face a big villain and defeat them on his own. I want to see Thor perform some of the feats his father performed in the old days. And if Marvel doesn't want to make him overpowered, then this needs to be much more of a character-driven story. And so far, this story seems like it's more about Loki's new role than it is about Thor's. Let me know what you guys think about this issue of Immortal Thor in the comment section below. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like and subscribe button, as well as the notification bell so you never miss out on a new video. Thanks for watching.